On September 16, 1984, a little TV show named Miami Vice hit cable and was a huge success for NBC. It was created by Anthony Yerkovich and produced by an up-and-coming filmmaker named Michael Mann. The show would become iconic for its stylish depiction of the Miami drug scene, its use of contemporary music, and its distinctive fashion. Years later, in 2006, a movie would be made that has gone down as very divisive. It's a movie that defines what it means to be revisited. So today, let's check out Michael Mann's film adaptation of Miami Vice.
We just get Miami Vice on television. Hey man, Miami Vice is #1 new show. Yeah.
So unnecessary.
As we previously said, Michael Mann helped create the captivating TV show. During the 80s and 90s, Michael would go on and make some of the greatest films, including Heat, The Insider, The Last of the Mohicans, and Manhunter. In 2001, after wrapping his biopic Ali, Jaimie Foxx would bring up the idea of making a movie version of Miami Vice. Mann worked on the screenplay himself, aiming to retain the essence of the original show while incorporating more gritty and realistic elements.
Who the f knows you?
My mommy and daddy know me.
When the time came for casting, Michael turned to Will Smith, Denzel Washington, and Samuel L. Jackson for the role of Ricardo Tubbs. All would turn down the role, so he went to his collaborator Jaimie Foxx. This would be their third film working together, after successfully creating Ali and Collateral. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Matthew McConaughey were all considered for the role of Sonny Crockett. Michael eventually went to Don Johnson and asked him who he would pick to play Sonny. Johnson said Collin Farrell was his choice. Other notable cast members added to the film were Naomi Harris, John Hawkes, Kieran Hines, Gong Li, Justin Theroux, Barry Shabaka Henley, John Ortiz, and Elizabeth Rodriguez. Just like in the previous film Collateral, Michael would not only bring back his cinematographer Dion Bibe, but would shoot the film digitally on the Thomson Viper film stream camera. This was one of the first big budgeted films that was shot on digital, and this was a big deal in the industry.
How much?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Consider it an investment in the future of a fine business relationship.
Principal photography began in early 2005 and lasted several months. Michael Mann, known for his meticulous attention to detail and preference for authentic settings, employed handheld cameras and natural lighting to create a documentary-like visual style. True to the spirit of the original series, much of the film was shot on location in Miami, the Caribbean, Uruguay, and Paraguay to capture a sense of realism and global scope. Uruguay would stand in for scenes involving Havana, Cuba, such as the resort Atlantida and the old building of the Carrasco International Airport. As beautiful as it sounded to film in locations, the production would run into several problems. Filming in Miami took place during hurricane season. While filming a scene of Crockett and Tubbs driving in the Ferrari with the top down, a windstorm blew out of the windows of a tall building. The glass damaged the car and just missed the actors. Another storm damaged the production office and delayed filming of the ending. 7 days of filming were lost to multiple hurricanes, including Katrina, Rita, and Wilma. These delays led to a budget of what some insiders claim to be over $150 million, though Universal Pictures says it cost $135 million.
What the f happened, man? Clean got killed.
Cool down.
Several crew members criticized Mann's decisions during production, which featured sudden script changes and choosing locations that even the police would avoid. Mann wanted the film to be as realistic as possible, and had his actors train with real-life undercover law enforcement officers. Both Jaimie and Collin observed undercover operations from a safe distance, but Farrell was told he'd learned so much that he was welcome to participate in a real sting operation. During the operation, guns were drawn and the officers' identities were questioned. Farrell reports being scared for his life. He spontaneously ripped open his shirt to demonstrate he wasn't wearing a wire, an act the agent in charge later commended for being realistic, quick-witted improvisation. After suffering anxiety and insomnia that night, Farrell contacted the agent in charge and was told that the sting operation was staged, and he was never in danger.
And I couldn't sleep that night. I called Lorenzo's boss at about 2 o'clock in the morning. He was in bed with his wife and just had to talk to him about it for about 10 minutes. He felt so bad. They weren't going to tell me the next day. He came around to the hotel room with Michael and told me it was all set up. They got me good.
Foxx was also characterized as unpleasant to work with. He had won an Academy Award after signing on to the film, but before production began, he asked for a pay raise in his salary and other compensation. He had also demanded top billing in the film's credits and was said to have complained that he was paid less than Farrell. Foxx's salary was raised considerably, and Farrell's was cut slightly to address this. Foxx also refused to fly commercially, which successfully lobbied Universal to hire a private jet for him. He also had objected to filming scenes shot on boats or planes, even though I'm pretty sure we see him on both in the movie. Eventually, after gunshots were fired on set in the Dominican Republic on October 24, 2005, Foxx left the country and returned to the US. This forced the production to abandon the script's intended ending, slated to be shot in Paraguay, and was reverted to a previously discarded one that Mann had written, which was set in Miami. One crew member later stated that the Miami-based ending was the dramatically inferior of the two, though Mann said that he came to prefer it.
Yeah. You know, they should call you Mother Overjones to avoid confusion, right?
What's the confusion?
There's no confusion.
Here we go. We're going to get back on track here.
When the time came for post-production, Mann oversaw the editing process to ensure the film maintained its fast pace and atmospheric feel, akin to his Heat and Collateral movies. Marketing for Miami Vice was going to be big. The first teaser trailer heavily used the song Numb Encore by Linkin Park and Jay-Z. It was shown in front of 2005's King Kong. If you grew up around this time, not only was that song incredible, but adding it to a movie trailer would only heighten the anticipation to want to see it. Michael Mann declined to use the show's theme song in the film. He also didn't ask Jan Hammer, who created the music for the TV show, to work on the film. The score would be composed by John Murphy, as well as Klaus Badelt, Mark Batson, and Tim Motzer. The RZA was going to add some contributions to the score, but dropped out. Organized Noise was brought in for replacement. The soundtrack features a mix of electronic, rock, and contemporary music, and pays homage to the original show's iconic musical style. A perfect example of this involves Phil Collins' smash hit In the Air Tonight. That song was featured in the TV show's pilot, and in the film a cover was done by a rock band called Nonpoint. Unfortunately, the soundtrack doesn't include all the songs that are used in the film. Numb Encore makes an appearance as well as 2 Audioslave songs, but are non-existent on the soundtrack.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our JoBlo channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
Miami Vice released to theaters on July 28, 2006. It opened in first place with a gross of $25 million and dethroned Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest after topping the box office for 3 weeks in a row. After a month in theaters, the film dropped out of the top 10. By October of that year, it would end up grossing $63 million domestically. Internationally, the film would actually do better, grossing $100 million. After its theatrical run, it would total out to $163 million. It currently sits with a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the critics' consensus saying, quote, Miami Vice is beautifully shot, but the lead characters lack the charisma of their TV series counterparts, and the underdeveloped story is well below the standards of Michael Mann's better films, end quote. While some critics praised it, including Richard Roper and Rolling Stone, others didn't enjoy it at all. Critics like Stephen Hunter of the Washington Post said, quote, the worst news about Miami Vice is that Collin Farrell and Jaimie Foxx, replacing Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas in the key roles, don't hold a candle, a flashlight, a freaking match to the original guys, end quote.
That's a bad idea.
This is past a bad idea.
And it has no future.
That's right.
So, there's nothing to worry about.
Michael Mann has had some choice words to say about the film. He has made it clear that he considers the movie to be that one that got away, in large part because of the hastily revised ending. In 2016, he spoke with New York Magazine on the film's 10th anniversary and described his disappointment with the film, saying, quote, I don't know how I feel about it. I know the ambition behind it, but it didn't fulfill that ambition for me because we couldn't shoot the real ending, end quote. Collin Farrell was also not very fond of the film and said, quote, I didn't like it so much. I thought it was style over substance, and I accept a good bit of the responsibility. It was never going to be Lethal Weapon, but I think we missed an opportunity to have a friendship that also had some elements of fun, end quote.
What else did Stevens tell you?
He said that it went bad, that he didn't give us up, told us goodbye.
Miami Vice was released on DVD on December 12, 2006. It would contain some great extras, including the extended cut, which clocks in at 140 minutes and adds an extra 8 minutes to the film's runtime. There were other great special features as well, including shooting on location, behind the scenes of the gun training, and commentary by Michael Mann. For any cinephile who loves a good commentary, I highly recommend checking this one out. Mann gets into detail on the troubled production and talks about all the situations that were encountered on set. It was one of the first HD HD-DVD combo disc to be released in one of the best-selling DVDs of 2006. So on August 26, 2008, after Blu-ray dominated the home entertainment world, Universal Studios would release the unrated Director's Edition on Blu-ray. In 2023, Walmart released an exclusive steelbook from Mill Creek Entertainment that contained both the theatrical and extended cuts of the film. So for any fan, this is a must-buy.
Miami Vice sizzles with action. Let's do it. Sex and the visceral jolt of life on the edge.
They got eyes on us!
Fire. Miami Vice, the unrated Director's Edition, now on DVD and HD DVD.
Like most things, time heals all wounds, and this film is no exception. In 2016, critic Stephen Hayden wrote that Miami Vice had developed a burgeoning reputation as a cult favorite, especially among younger critics and filmmakers who consider it a touchstone in their love of movies. Director Harmony Korine cited it as a major influence on his 2012 film Spring Breakers. He said, quote, "The reason I love Mann's movies, and that one in particular, is I could feel the place. When I watch that film, I don't even pay attention to what they're saying or the storyline. I just love the colors, I love the texture," end quote. In 2014, Time Out, a magazine based out of London, ranked Miami Vice as the 95th best action film of all time. So after having revisited this film almost 20 years later, I can safely say that it not only holds up, but it's a true cinematic gem. It bodes stylish cinematography, a great atmospheric soundtrack, a fun, albeit small story, but again, this is based off a TV series. It is a testament to Michael Mann's prowess as a director and storyteller, and is a film that not only pays homage to the iconic source material, but also redefines it for a contemporary audience. My one personal gripe are Collin and Jaimie's performances when they're together. Now, hear me out. Everyone in this film all feels like they know what they signed up for, but only when these two are on screen together, they act as if they're on autopilot. We as audience love the dynamic between Crockett and Tubbs. While they have great chemistry with everyone else, there's just nothing between them. I won't say that the film suffers because of it, but I will say, Sonny and Isabella's sexual chemistry on the dance floor had more to say than our main protagonists.
Hola, chica.
Hola, chico.
In conclusion, Miami Vice emerges as a standout film. It carves its own path with bold stylistic choices and compelling storytelling. Michael Mann's direction, coupled with Dion Bebe's mesmerizing cinematography, transports viewers into the gritty underworld of Miami with unprecedented realism and intensity. Beyond its visuals and auditory prowess, Miami Vice captivates with its authenticity and attention to detail, offering a nuanced exploration of loyalty, moral ambiguity, and the high stakes of undercover work. It's a film that challenges conventions, keeping audiences engaged with its narrative depth and dynamic portrayal of law enforcement's challenges, and ultimately stands as a modern crime thriller that leaves a lasting impression, making it a compelling choice for cinephiles and fans alike.
What do you like to drink?
I'm a fiend for mojitos.
I know a place.